Tesla has a big secret that you need to know. Their cheapest car is actually surprisingly really good, but it's so good that you probably shouldn't buy it, at least not right now. It's been 1 month since I took delivery of this Model 3 rear-wheel drive, and I'll be honest, I am shocked at how good and bad this car is. There are so many improvements, so many refinements, so many shockingly good aspects of this car that you need to know, but also it's got its problems that do need to be fixed and some things that, frankly, if you're considering this car, you need to know about. So let me walk you through my 1 month ownership experience with this car as a pretty seasoned Tesla owner. Let me tell you the good stuff, the bad stuff, the secrets, and also why it is the perfect car for 99% of people out there, probably even you watching this video. But again, why you shouldn't buy this best Tesla right now. You're gonna wanna wait. Let me explain. And a big thanks to Fantic for sponsoring this video. Now, before I do a deep dive into the car, let me take a step back for a second and explain my delivery experience because everyone's story is different. I've had good experiences. I've had horrible experiences with my Model Y. I'll leave a link to that video up here and down below on the saga that was the Model Y delivery. But this car was surprisingly good and always is the case, was on Tesla's terms. Now, I originally ordered this car for my wife actually back in September, on September 6th. After a lot of back and forth on what car to get and what model, this is what she wanted, and this is the spec she ultimately ended up going with. It is the rear-wheel drive base Model 3, the cheapest one with the LFP battery and sort of the standard range model. It has the following config. She went for the black paint, which is a $1,500 extra option, but everything else was stock 18-inch wheels, stock black interior, no EAP, no FSD, and we did not opt for a charging cable, which I'll get into a little bit more on that later. I am still super annoyed that this is not coming standard with the car. That just baffles my mind. It's insane, but I'll save that rant for a little bit later. And after we paid the $250 deposit fee, we got an estimated delivery window of end of November to January. Actually not all that bad considering sort of how other Tesla estimated delivery windows are going. You can't even order a Model 3 long range right now officially as of recording this video. So I thought a couple months wasn't gonna be too bad. And I'd check periodically every few days and maybe it moved like once or twice to be slightly worse, but then it always sort of came back to that November to January-ish window. And nothing really changed for a few weeks. But then, as always seems to happen, on the end of the quarter on September 30th, that morning, I got a call from my local Tesla delivery center, and they're wondering if I could come that day to take delivery of the car because it was magically ready months early. And for those who haven't gone through this Tesla buying experience before, it is very much a waiting game until it isn't, especially at the end of the quarter or near the end of a quarter where Tesla is looking to deliver as many cars as possible. They will seemingly bend heaven and earth to get you the car that you want. And after some back and forth on if they had the car, they didn't have the car, they had something similar, ultimately they did have that car and I was able to take delivery later on that night and you could sort of see some footage of that day. Though I'll tell you with my Model Y experience, if you miss the end of the quarter cutoff, Tesla goes from being super responsive and caring to seemingly distant and not very caring because they've got 3 months to sort of make up that time for delivery. So if you are near the end of the quarter, this is to your advantage. And you should be aware though, sometimes Tesla does try to, at least I've heard this, pass off cars that others have rejected. So make sure you take a close look at the car. I'll talk more about build quality in a moment, but ultimately we took delivery of the car that night, looked great, and now it's been a month later, and I've got some thoughts. Okay, now before we continue more on this standard range of rear-wheel drive Model 3, I want to take a quick break for just a moment to show off an amazing duo of accessories you need to have for your car. Whether you've got a Tesla Model 3, a Model Y, or really, if you're driving any car on the road, you want to keep it clean, and you're gonna need one of these amazing vacuums made by this video's sponsor, Fantic. Let me introduce you to 2 incredible brand new vacuums that you need to know about, the V8 Mate and the V9 Mate. Both of these are super sleek, super lightweight, and the perfect tool for cleaning every inch of your car, from seats, floor mats, those dreaded hard to reach places. Both of these vacuums are gonna do an amazing job at getting the cleaning job done. For example, the V8 Mate is a handheld vacuum that is engineered for extreme portability and is the perfect companion for any Tesla you've got. At under 1.2 pounds, pounds. It's extremely lightweight and is easy to use, and it's significantly lighter and more compact than other leading handheld vacuums. It's packed with a next generation M1 brushless digital motor that can pull even the deepest dirt and debris from inside of your car. And if you want all of this and more, look no further than the V9 Mate. It can reach every single corner and crevice of your car. It's got a built-in LED light to make it super easy to clean your car in those dimly lit corners. And what's also super cool is the ability to use a 4-foot flexible hose to quickly and easily clean all parts inside your car. Fantic is also the official sponsor of G2G in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. They make some amazing products that I know you guys are absolutely going to love. So if you want to learn more and pick up one of these amazing vacuums for yourself today, or both if you want to as well, click on the links in the description down below to learn more, select the Amazon coupon option, and use my discount code RRV8MATE or RRV9MATE, depending on the vacuum you choose to go with, to get a total of 20% off your order. This deal is only happening for a limited time, so order soon if you're interested. And you can pick up the V8 Mate in the super sleek black color and the V9 Mate in black or white, depending on what you want to go with. And my code is going to work for both of those, so you get those savings just by using my special code. And again, those special links down below. Again, check out both of these amazing vacuums today and order them for yourself today and take advantage of those special limited time savings by clicking the link right down below. All right, let's kick things off quickly here with build quality. I know I've gotten some questions on sort of the newer Tesla cars, how well they are built, and thoughts on this color combo. I know a lot of you guys out there are probably looking at a sort of black on black setup, so let me give you some quick thoughts. Well, first on the paint, I can tell you as nice as the black Tesla color is, and you are gonna pay $1,500 more like I mentioned earlier, it's still a black car, so that has its pros and it has its cons. In the shade, and when very clean, it's a really sleek color combo, and I apologize if you hear the tree trimming going on over there. I'm trying to isolate myself from that as much as I can. But the con here you're gonna notice is that it's still a black car. So you're gonna see fingerprints, you're gonna get smudges, you're gonna get any sort of dirt or debris. That's gonna show up just like you can see right there by high touch areas like a door handle here. That's gonna be one of the things. So as much as I love black cars, they're just incredibly tough to keep clean. So make of that what you will, but still looks really good. Also, the stock wheels, these are the smaller 18-inch Aero wheels. I actually like the look of these. These are the newer ones. They changed about maybe a year or two ago. Not the same as what I had on my 2019 Center Range Plus. Slightly tweaked. I like the look of them a lot. Super nice, comfortable ride with them. And I will say another thing about this car is that the build quality is really, really good. I didn't notice any issues. I was a little concerned too when we took delivery that this was a reject car and there was something wrong with it and somebody rejected it for a reason, but all the build quality boxes are checked. There's no misalignment, nothing I can see. Actually looks to be really well made, better than my Model Y. There's no speaker issues or anything. And the other thing I've noticed is that the ride quality is really good. It's very comfortable, super smooth. The cabin is quieter, and in a lot of ways, this 2022 Model 3 rear-wheel drive, which is cheaper than my 2022 long-range Model Y, is better in a lot of ways. Much quieter. It's a much more comfortable ride. Part of that is partially due to the wheels, but a really, really nice ride and build quality. So no complaints there in terms of color combo. You can make that choice for yourself. But build quality, I've got no complaints. Really well-built car, and I think it looks really good too. One of the very common questions I see floating around online, of course, is Model 3 versus Model Y. What are the big differences? And there's a very long list of big and small things you should be aware of, but the big one, of course, is space. What's the space situation like in the Model 3? Obviously, this car is a little bit smaller than the Y. It's going to sit lower to the ground. It's going to be a little bit more sporty, a little bit more nimble and fun to drive in a lot of cases. But let me give you a little look at what the space situation looks like. So, as you can see inside, it's your typical Tesla interior. Lots of space in here. This does have a newer wood trim that I think Tesla started a few months ago, where the wood from the interior here goes on to the door. They started doing this in the Model Y as well very recently. Not sure if I'm a huge fan fan of that, but that is there. But plenty of space up front as you'd expect. The back is also pretty spacious here as well. As you can see, enough room for a car seat over there. I've got a box of stuff, a good amount of space in the back, plenty of headroom, and also having that glass roof is going to make things feel more spacious as well. So you got a lot of space here. The big thing though is going to be, well, a little bit of space here, and then also on the trunk of the Y is where you're going to get that better experience here. On the 3, you've got a nice, fairly good sized trunk. You've even got the sub trunk down here for more space, and then you've got some pockets on the left, and actually, no, on the right. On the Model Y, you do get a pocket on the right, only a pocket there on the 3 right there, and then that's the size of the trunk, and obviously the Y is more of a hatchback where you have more room to sort of load things in. It's definitely a better hauler. I'll say, like, anecdotally with our 10-month-old daughter, it's way easier for me to load her toys and strollers and stuff into the Y than it is the 3. It can be done here, but it's just not as easy if you're looking for a family hauler. But one of the nice new additions here in the last 12 months or so, somewhat recently, is a powered trunk. So that is here even on the cheapest Model 3, which I really appreciate. And I'll get to more in a minute of the nice things that you get on the cheapest Model 3 that wasn't always the case. So that's your nice powered trunk. And then if you want to look at the front situation, here is what that's going to look like. Again, you've got some more space here. And that is what you've got. Tire tool, just a bare plastic shell, and that is that. So lots of space here, but again, if you're looking for a car that's going to be a little bit more spacious, higher up off the ground, and one that is easier as a family hauler, that is going to be the Model Y. I will say though, like I mentioned with build quality improvements, easier to close the frunk on this for sure than it is on any other Tesla I've owned. And just little things on here, I'm surprised for Tesla's cheapest offering. Again, $50,000 isn't cheap, but it's cheap in the world of Tesla. Just how good the build quality is. You're getting a really, really good car for the price, and there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, but also some bad, which I'll get into next. So one of the big things with this car is some of the sacrifices you're making. For the price, you're getting a rear-wheel drive Model 3. What does that mean, and what do you get? And what don't you get? And does it actually make a difference? So the rear-wheel drive means that it's a rear-wheel drive car. It's not going to be an all-wheel drive car. And it only has one motor compared to the dual motor in the long range and performance variants, and also all Model Y variants, at least the ones made here in the US, are also going to be dual motor as well. So this in the US is sort of a unicorn as Tesla's single motor offering. What this also means is you're going to get a difference with battery technology as well as in addition to range. So this has about 270-ish miles of range, which I'll get into more in a second. Also, it's got an LFP battery, which allows it to charge to 100% on a regular basis and not degrade the battery. That is not the case with other Teslas, so that is kind of nice. It's going to make it a little bit slower. It's going to make it a little bit heavier. It's not going to have that pep and torque that you might find in a long range of performance, but I will say, for the price and what you get, it's a very peppy car. It is extremely fun to drive, and I don't personally notice that much of a difference between this and my long-range Model Y, though it's not an apples-to-apples comparison there, but you are going to make a little bit of sacrifice with speed and performance and stuff like that. But besides that, you're getting a really good-looking car. On the outside, you could not tell this was a cheap Tesla. You're getting the same options for wheels, same options for colors. The only difference you'll notice on the exterior is there's no badge. If you had a long-range one, this would say dual motor here. It would also say an underline there, or have an underline if it was a performance. But as a rear-wheel drive, it does not have that. Also, I should mention, this is a 2022, not 2023, so there are ultrasonic sensors there. Yes, glad I got that just in the nick of time. The other big differences you're going to notice here are going to be on the interior. Tesla had to cut some costs in addition to different batteries, and you're going to miss some stuff on the inside that I think is ridiculous. The big one for me that just grinds my gears is you don't get floor mats. So even on a car of this price, Tesla does not include floor mats. I don't know why. I can't imagine it's saving them that much money. Tesla floor mats aren't even that great anyways, but no floor mats here, no floor mats here. So that is something you got to be aware of, that you don't get any mats. So make of that what you will. The other missing thing here these days is the charging cable. This is actually the case for all Teslas, but I will say it just doesn't make any sense to me. I know I've ranted about this before, but you do not get any charging cable, any charging accessory with this car, with the exception of the J1772 to Tesla adapter for use with mobile chargers and stuff like that, and EVgo's and third-party charging stations. You do get that, but no charging cable when you take delivery of the car. The other big difference is going to be on the inside with the audio system. With this cheaper car, you are getting Tesla's partial premium audio system, which means that it doesn't have a subwoofer and it doesn't have an amplifier. So not all speakers are active. Basically, from what I understand, there's a speaker up here that's your main source of audio that's going to be active, and these really don't do anything if they're even connected. I know that some of these, I've seen conflicting reports on whether they're connected or not, but you're not going to get a full audio experience. So even if you jump in here to EQ settings and you turn up immersive audio and you turn up the bass, I was playing with it just a minute ago, I noticed absolutely zero difference between a 0 rating on the bass and if you went up all the way to 5 and cranked it to or whatever the max is. You can go up and down here and it's not going to make, if I could even get it, there we go, go up to 8, it's not going to make any difference because there's a subwoofer. So you're sort of limited to just the built-in speakers. And you can adjust things and EQ things and it's still going to sound okay, but if you want the best audio experience possible, you're not going to get that in this car. It's a good audio system, but it's not a great audio system. So that is something to keep in mind. That's one of the biggest misses here. And if you are really into audio and you love to listen to music, then I think it might be worth the better audio system. If you're just a casual listener, you listen to podcasts and talk radio and some music casually, not going to be huge, but something you should be aware of. But as bad as that is, you do get a lot of good with this car and a lot of things that I didn't have or were paid options with my Standard Range Plus that are now going to be free. So I'll reset this, though it does nothing. A couple of cool things you do get here. You do get some heated wipers, and you get a heated steering wheel, which that's super cool. My Model Y doesn't even have heated wipers, so that's a new thing. So you even get this in the cheapest Tesla. And also, what was a $300 option is now free, which is rear heated seats. So Tesla used to software lock this behind a paywall, but now it is included as one of the standard features here on all Teslas, including the standard range Model 3, which is really nice. And you do get that. And then the other thing I'll just sort of say anecdotally is this has the Ryzen processor, which is not, it's not new, but it's been out in the last 12 months. But I'll say sort of with my own personal anecdotal experience, it's way faster, especially like skipping songs. I'm like on whatever like the built-in like tune-in thing is, whatever this is. Loading things, skipping songs, navigating around. It feels significantly and noticeably faster with this Ryzen processor than the Intel processor in other Teslas, including my Model Y, which I think is going to continue to be something we notice as time goes on more. But same software experience here. You're getting all the same capabilities. You're getting the same features. You're really just missing out on the audio system, which is sort of a bummer, but not the end of the world. But if you didn't know this was Tesla's cheapest car just by that missing badge, you wouldn't tell inside that anything was different. Super premium, really nice seats, very comfortable, and all is good in the cheapest car. Okay, so one of the big questions with this car is how good is the range? There's always a lot of hesitation and confusion and a lot of misinformation on range anxiety. Is 272 miles enough? Is there, I think it's 272, 270-ish. Is that enough? Is that a sacrifice? Is this car going to give you enough range, and is the cheapest Tesla any good? To answer all those questions, yes it is. Range is not a problem. Performance is not a problem for the price. Features are not a problem. This is a really, really good car. Specifically, what I mean by that is that I owned a 2019 Standard Range Plus, basically the 3-year-older predecessor to this car, and that had 240 miles of range and a non-LFP battery. So I was only getting around 200-ish miles, maybe 190 on like an 80% charge, and that was a little caused a little range anxiety. It wasn't great. But now that you have this LFP battery that can be charged to 100 regularly and more range, 270-ish miles is plenty of range, especially if you can charge on a regular basis and you work somewhere like this office park that I'm in that has chargers available, or you have a charging situation at home that's reliable. This is an excellent way to go, and I think the range is not a problem. I think that as people learn more about EVs and drive these for themselves and sort of understand their charging habits, you'll notice that the range is not an issue, and I know that there is a discrepancy between range with this and the long range, but 270 miles has not been bad. And sort of my general thoughts 1 month in with this car are overwhelmingly positive. Build quality is really good. The Ryzen processor is really good. I just forgot how fun the Model 3 is to drive. It's a great companion car. You are making some sacrifices with the range and speed and stuff like that. I do miss the audio system in the long range and performance variants. I think the removal of the charging cable and floor mats are stupid. But besides that, putting that to the side, this is a really good car, and I think for most people it's going to give you all the range you need, it's going to give you the performance you need, and it's going to give you that premium car experience. Tesla, of course, has some controversial moves. They include some things, they don't include others, but this is a fantastic car. Tesla's build quality is better than ever, and I am really loving what this standard Tesla is offering. And I think that if they can bring this price down a little bit more, or at least market this car a little bit better, the people will be happy. This is a really good offering. And 1 month in, I am loving this car, and I gotta say that it's a really great option. If you're looking to buy a Tesla, don't think long range or performance is the only way to go. Don't think the long range is the default. Definitely consider this car, because I think for most of you watching, this is going to be the car you are going to love, and I think the best choice out there for most people watching. Okay, so my overall experience with this car has been great. I'm pretty positive on this car, and ultimately, I think I pretty much really like it. But why am I saying not to buy it? Why am I telling you in this video you shouldn't buy it? Well, there's a big reason, or 3 reasons you might want to consider holding off. The big one really here in the US is the new federal tax incentives kicking in at the beginning of 2023. And there is a lot of speculation that this car, the rear-wheel drive Model 3, will be one of, if not the only Tesla models to qualify for this new federal tax incentive. So if you meet the criteria, you could basically get an big discount at point of sale of $7,500 if you qualify again and meet those requirements. But that's not an inconsiderable amount of money at all. So if you are looking to take advantage of those tax incentives, you might want to wait to take delivery until 2023. And then also, point number 2, speaking of discounts, Tesla just announced some pretty big price decreases, some price drops on the Model 3 and Model Y in China of a few $1,000s depending on the model. And there is a lot of speculation that with slowing demand, Tesla would also drop prices in other parts of the world, including here in North America. There has been no confirmation of this. There's been no leaks of this. But if you are hoping that prices could be adjusted, again, especially depending on the federal tax incentives and how that plays out, I would also wait until 2023, give it a couple months to see how things shake out in that regard. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention number 3, that Tesla is rumored to be making more upgrades and downgrades to the 2023 Model 3 and Model Y. So if you do want the latest and greatest, maybe you want a shot at one of the new paint colors, maybe you want to have some new feature that we haven't seen before, you might want to wait to take delivery in like month 3 or 4 of 2023, because usually by then Tesla has rolled out all of the major features to the car. Usually they do sporadic updates throughout the year, but usually by February, March, they've got their 2023 models pretty much solidified. So if you do want the latest and greatest and you want all the new features, you might want to wait just a little bit longer if you can. If not, order now, take delivery, because it's still a great car and you're going to be happy. All right, guys, so what are your thoughts on the cheapest Tesla you can buy today? As a former Standard Range Plus owner, I think this rear-wheel drive model is a really great upgrade in so many ways. I love the features you get. Also, I'm still annoyed of the things that Tesla chooses to remove, but my frustrations have been aired in several videos now, so I will leave it at that. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. If you own this car, let me know down below if you think this is a winner or if it's a loser, and other things you'd love to see Tesla change on this car in the next couple of generations. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.